Boys, we have been patched. They nerfed our favorite samurai just a little bit. His damage is a little bit lower. We'll talk about all the changes and show you them visually. The dev team released an update talking about some new updates, and what I'm most interested in are A, the patch notes, and B, we're getting a early access release date on October 7th. So if you haven't been able to get into closed beta, now's your chance. Just a couple weeks away. We should have the 10th character by then as well, so that's exciting. But yeah, let's get started with the patch notes. Beginning with our favorite clanker, Blitzcrank. His death loop has been removed. It seems that when an enemy is coming in from being ejected, they were not getting their throw invincibility, so this was an unavoidable situation because Blitz could grab you on your first active frames, but now that's impossible. Previously, his rocket grab had no scaling on it. Any follow-up attack did 100% of its damage. Basically, it meant that damage scaling did not start until the second hit, and it made it so Blitzcrank's long-range damage confirmed sometimes did more damage than the combos you get from close range. Now the horizontal rocket grab adds 2 hits of scaling. You can see here that the follow-up attacks do 80% of their damage instead of 100, and the upward rocket does 1 hit of scaling, making the follow-ups do 90%. The mid-air rocket grab got 1 hit of scaling as well. It used to end off with 60% scaling on the last hit, but now it is 50%. And then his steam grab also got 1 hit of scaling. So regardless of the upward one or horizontal one, now the follow-up does 90% instead of 100%. These rocket grab scaling changes only really make a difference for the beginning of a combo, as typically when used in a combo, they are towards the end and the scaling has already reached its maximum at 15%. Blitzcrank's S1 super got nerfed slightly. I guess before you could connect his standing light after a hit and now you can't. I never once saw this, so I don't know how impactful of a change it is, but yeah. It also used to break armor, but now armor cleanly beats it, so that's nice to see. They made his forward S2 more consistent on block, and now all 3 hits make contact very consistently. Before, if you hit the first swing at max distance, then it would push them too far away for the rest to connect. They also increased the recovery on his air light and air medium attacks. Before, you could throw out 2 in a normal jump and 3 in a super jump, but now it's 1 in a normal jump and 2 in a super jump. They said the old recovery was unintended, so I kind of consider this more of a bug fix. I'm not sure how I feel about these Blitzcrank changes. I like that they fixed the eject bug. I don't know how impactful or meaningful the other changes are. Blitz wasn't really doing as much damage as others already, so the scaling changes don't make a lot of sense. And then I've only seen beginners spam his air normals because they're just mashing. So maybe Blitz was a demon at lower ranks, I'm not sure. They didn't change the reason a lot of people play him, so if you use him for the restands, then your game plan is still intact. Next is our favorite Viking, Braum. Braum got a small change, but very welcome buff. Previously, his standing medium had a massive hurt box on it, so that's been reduced to be in line with the rest of the cast. Now it's much harder to counter hit him out of the move. I like this buff as there really wasn't a reason for this move to have a massive hurt box. Next is my girl Illaoi, who got a 33% reduction on her super tentacle chip damage. This is only on the super tentacles, so her special moves still do the same chip. There were more optimal setups to spawn more tentacles, but we'll go with the basic one where we super and then spawn 1 extra tentacle with her down S2. So we'll do that and then see how much chip damage everything does. So you see here without Darius bleed buff, we do about 95 chip damage, and with Darius bleed, we get about 120 chip damage. Running some quick numbers, this means without Darius bleed, we would get about 143 chip damage, and with Darius bleed, we used to get 180 chip damage in this setup. Just like Blitzcrank, I'm also not sure how impactful these changes are. Yes, it was a lot of chip damage, and I could understand the frustration when you are choosing a good option to block it and just taking a lot of damage, but that wasn't really the main purpose of this super, and I haven't seen a lot of Illaoi Darius teams anyways. The main purpose of this super was to stall, or is to stall for time for your assist to regenerate, and to do a lot of damage if you open them up. Those purposes are still intact. Next we got Vi, who had a simple quality of life change. Now, regardless of how high up she forward grabs you, she can still connect her S2 super and her down S2 special. Before, these would whiff when grabbing high in the air. This is a great change that I think a lot of Vi players will appreciate. No real notes on this. Lastly is Yasuo, my boy. His game plan did not get touched, but a few of his moves now do less damage overall. When you hit with your held forward S1, it now does 110 damage instead of 120. Turbulent Wind does 90 down from 110, and the midair held S1 does 90 down from 100. This nerf does not affect his unheld air and ground S1s. Now when you land these moves raw, they'll do less, but also their scale damage is less as well because scaling is percentage based. Here's an example of a TOD that uses 1 turbulent Turbulent Wind and 1 held RS1 Gale Blade. It used to do exactly 950 damage, but now we do a little less at 936. Here's an example of a mid-screen combo where we use 1 S2, which is his Turbulent Wind, 2 held forward S1s, which is Sweeping Blade, and 1 held S1 in the air, which is his Gale Blade. Running some quick math, we see that we now do 527 damage, where we used to do 544 damage on this combo. So depending on the combo, we can expect about a 3% decline in damage across the board. I really don't think this will change things too much. With the TOD from earlier, if I were just a little more optimal, then it starts killing again. So I think if anything, this will just encourage Yasuo's to be even more optimal. Alright boys, that's it. Short and sweet. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you next time. Adios.